Week 1, Lesson 4, Stained Glass Windows. The Bayeux Tapestry wasn't the only creation of European Middle Ages that used pictures to tell a story. A creation of stained glass began to appear around the 10th century in Europe. It's not clear who created it, but we do know that the Egyptians and the Romans created colored glass. And stained glass became associated with religion in Paris at the Cathedral of Saint-Denis in the late 1100 AD. Stained glass windows were used as visual enhancements for Mass, so that priests and holy men could point to them as examples of what they were talking about in their sermons. Stained glass windows could often show the different stages of the cross and different saints, although they did not always show the entire stages of the cross in the same building. Here is a clip from current New York City.
They are large windows that seem to have been beamed down from on high. They give off reflections of liturgical looks, only seen from the inside, leaving the atmosphere fragrant with religious awe. Stained glass has a 1,000-year-old history, but it's a modest one. Little is known about the creators or the process. I caught up with Dr. Francis Green, a professor of fine arts, for answers. What historians believe to be the first stained glass was found in England in the Cathedral of Jarrow. It dates back to the late 600s, and very little survives.
Very often people associate stained glass only with the Gothic after 1200. It existed very much earlier in rather simple form, but beautiful, and so it has a longer tradition than people would think.
The Egyptians and Romans started making colored glass very early on. They were created with chromium, silver, gold, and cobalt. After being colored, the glass was blown.
They would blow the glass, which was not a new process, into a cylinder, and amazingly, while it was molten, slice it and lay it out to become sheets.
After that, the sheets were dry and they were cut.
These stained glass windows were used to help tell stories in a time before the printing press was created. So, when put in a noticeable place like cathedrals, they could be used to promote to the public the glory of the Bible. At first glance, this picture of a window is overwhelming. We see angels and saints, and in the top right corner, we even see a battle. But let's look at the bottom of this window, and the lowest rows tell us a very famous biblical story. The pictures here are from a more modern church, St. Mary's in Sydney, Australia. In this picture, we see God talking to Eve about the rule of not eating the apple in the tree, a forbidden fruit which will have consequences if they eat it. Eve is shown naked, and her hair is covering her nipples and a flower covering her vagina. This is probably symbolism. There is an angel behind her, showing that she is surrounded by the glory and power of God. Adam seems to be asleep, his arms covering his nipples and the plants covering his penis. It's not clear if the figure in the red robe is God or the devil, but I'm going to guess God, since he's warning them away from the tree and has the same facial features as God when he shows up in a later picture. However, the figure is also wearing red, which is the same color of the serpent in the next picture. Here we see Eve has been tempted by the serpent. She's taken the forbidden fruit and eaten it. She is handing the apple to Adam, who seems more than ready to accept it. Now, the fruit is usually associated with knowledge or wisdom, and that is what caused the fall of man. But if you look carefully at Adam, you see that even though his genitals are covered, there is still a plant there, an erect plant that's the same color as Adam's skin. Maybe the artist was putting something extra in there for the priest to talk about at the sermons. God returns and he's holding up his finger like he's tisking them, disappointed with their actions. Adam and Eve are on their knees, their hands clasped together, begging for forgiveness. In the area behind them is full of life in God's presence. An angel stands at the doorway to paradise, holding a flaming sword. Adam and Eve are cast out into the world, the castle behind the angel representing the kingdom of heaven. The trees behind them have no leaves. This is a much harsher place in paradise. There is also a moon behind them. They are cast out into the night and into darkness. More symbolism in this picture. As we can see, these magnificent stained glass pictures were used to help retell biblical stories and help give churchgoers visual references to help support their beliefs. After all, Faith can be great, but seeing is believing. Question to contemplate. What benefits would having stained glass windows to tell stories have?